Well, here we are. Good morning. I am Tamara Hudson with Encore, and I'm in Kansas City. And I get the pleasure of playing with some products, some of my favorite products from a maker's studio this morning. I have been a long time believer. I always tell Amy I drank the Kool-Aid of all Amy Howard at home products. And I was so excited when Maker Studio was formed. I've been around that long, and I absolutely love the ease of these products. And welcome to my dining room here. I'm going to do my best. I'm actually going to pull this up over here so I can see it on my computer. So forgive me for that while I reach. My orientation is off a little bit because I am in my dining room today versus in my studio space because I wanted you to see my mantle because that's what we're going to be working on. Just some fun ideas. And I'm going to be over here. Aha. I'm cheating and pulling this up on my computer so I can see when I turn the camera down, so I can see that I'm actually getting my stuff in the screen. So as you're coming on, if you just want to say hello, I would absolutely love that. Even tell me where you're from. I'm going to do my best to see in this little screen any comments, but I think there's also some nice helpers at Amy Howard to get me through this. Like I said, I'm normally in my studio, but since this is all about doing a mantle, I'm in my dining room. So I'm a little off with how I normally set things up. So say a prayer for me. Give me some grace, pretty please. But this is what we're going to be talking about today. I will let you know right off the bat, I am not a less is more kind of girl. I am a maximalist to the core. So this is really pared back for me because I wanted the pieces to really shine. When I'm done, I'll probably have even more stuff up here. But let's just totally show you some of the easy things that we can do. And I'll preface it with this. All the years that I've been selling Amy Howard in my store and working home shows and going on the news to talk about Amy Howard's products, this is why I love them so much. I can spend a little bit of time. I can spend 5 minutes at a show, 10 minutes in my store, or on a live stream with you and show you these products, and you can get the same products and you can go home and have 100% success. That is why I have stood by and only used Amy's products for as long as I have, because they work. They do what they say they're going to do. So that being said, one of the things that we're going to do is, we're just going to paint over here. I told you it's off a little bit for me. So I had some of these curly, thicker sticks left over from summer displays, and they were wet. So I got them dried out. I'm going to show you what we used, or how I took the one-step paint to get those looking. I wanted them to pop out a little bit more on my mantle. I'm going to show you how I take a mirror to make this awesome hocus pocus sign. We're going to make a banner using stencils with this raven. And then after we do the sticks, I love how this guy turned out. Man, I got to turn everything's opposite. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience with me. So let's just get started and let's play. I'm going to turn this down and pray that everything stays where it's supposed to stay and you can see it. I'm probably going to have to flip this a little bit more. All right. Make sure I can see it over there. Okay, you can. Fantastic. This is super, super easy. We have, hands down, the best black paint on the market. Tell you a little secret. All the years that I was selling it in my store, people that worked with other paint, even people who sold other paint, would come in and buy this black paint on the down low. Remember, the one-step paint does not mean one coat, but it means no sanding, stripping, or priming. You're usually going to need 2 coats. You can get away with 1 coat sometimes with the black, depending on what you're using. But I literally I'm going to use a foam brush, and I'm going to start by dipping it in some water. I'm going to get a little bit of paint. You can do a couple different things. You can take a plate, something like this. I usually like to use a glass plate or ceramic paint, but I thought I'd just keep it simple and use these paper plates today. And it's literally, I like the foam brush for this. I mean, I know you guys know how to paint, but the biggest thing I just wanted you to see with showing you is you're going to get great coverage. I mean, how fast you could get the kids involved with this, even if you wanted to. I know Amy talks a lot about doing fun stuff with the grandkids. And all you're going to do is just then let this dry. You can go full force if you want, but my only trick in my mind to make it a little bit more spooky, oop, that's going to break off on me if I'm not careful, is I'm not going for super even coverage. I want my lighter bits covered. Hey, I see that message from a maker studio on there. Thanks for believing in me, guys. Like I said, this was scary switching it into my dining room and trying to get everything just so, but it made sense because that's where the mantle's at in my little house. Okay, see how I did not go for perfection there? Because that has a little bit more of that Sleepy Hollow look to me. So easy peasy, let that dry, and then arrange it up there in your vase. You can, I used one that I had. You can always make one and add more stencils to it, cobwebs around it, like kind of whatever your spooky vibe is. Just my little tip, I never use an even number. If I'm just doing twigs, I want 3, 5, or 7, depending on how big the space is. And I'll show you again, like I did 3 of them going up and one kind of just straight out, because the next thing I did, actually, I just need to move this one down. Told you it's a little awkward in my dining room, but we're going to get through this, because then I took back cutouts and just pop those in different places on the twigs. Now these I bought, I did not cut out. I'll be super honest with you. I've had them. They came in a pack of 24. They came with these little glue dot things. Do not trust those. Use the glue dot if you want, but also definitely use hot glue or something to keep them. I like, since this is on my mantle, I like having bats come up all the way out of, like they're coming out of my fireplace and going all the way up. So I'll definitely be adding to that. Hey, good morning, Sue Jackson. How are you today? But I got this idea and I wish I'd gotten it last night, but of course I got it in the wee morning hours. How fun would it be to take this black cutout, and I have a stencil that is lace, and just do a lace stencil over this. I think that would be gorgeous. Like I said, I'm a more is more kind of girl. So that would just kind of give that another dimension. Even if you just did it on a couple of the bats, I thought that would be really, really cool. Like I said, I got that idea, I think at like 4 in the morning. Okay. The next thing I did, any mantle needs some spooky bottles. Now these bottles I literally went rummaging through my goodies. I had these mercury glass bottles that I got probably at Michael's at eons ago. You can do all sorts of different fun things, and maybe that would be another live that we could do. You can take glass bottles and you can pour paint on the inside and swish it around. You can do different things to get this mercury glass look. One of the things I like to do with is like spray some water and then spray Amy's spray lacquer, and then you pat it. So you can replicate this look. And that's a whole other live that we're going to do. But I picked out, look how great that spider stencil turns out. I love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to show you really quick. And then when I'm done, we'll show you the mantle again, especially if you didn't catch it right from the beginning. Alrighty. If you haven't used these stencils, they're the best in the world. I think. I'm a little biased though. So I always cut the stencil that I want to use. They're a tri-mesh stencil. They are so user friendly. Even I can do them. I've struggled with stencils way back in the day when I'd want to be stenciling a wall or something. If I'd had these, woo, girl, life would have been so much better. I'm using the ceramic paint. This stuff is awesome, guys. You can use this. I know, the dead spider. That's exactly what I need on that mantle. That's a whole, I can't. And now I've got the creepy crawlies. There was a spider in my slippers last night. I did not get bit, but it was huge. So here is my ceramic paint. You do not have to bake this. It's the coolest stuff, and it dries so good and fast. So I've just got my little card here. I don't know if this is the approved way to do it, but I've always done it this way. I just put a little bit of this on here. I'm sure you guys can see really good. And then I just literally wipe that on there. How quick and easy is that? And then here's the reveal. Da, da, da. See? I mean, you could bust this kind of stuff out all day long. Now, I have a tub of water. So normally I would go straight to the sink and use my fingers and wash this out. I've got a tub of water right here that I need to set this in because I want to get it out of they're tri-mesh stencil, so it's like a screen print. So I'm going to get this in my water. I'm sorry I'm off screen for just a second, but I want to save my stencil. I'm going to show you all I did. You just want to make sure that you can see through it again where that screen print's at. I know that was quick, but I was dripping, so I apologize. But yeah, so there's the spider. I don't want to use a real one. So, okay, easy peasy. You can do as many of those or as little as your heart desires. I chose 2 because I had 2 bottles. Easy, right? Sometimes you work with what you got. That's what I like doing a lot too. Man, when you get a lot of these kind of goodies going on, you could even do, if you wanted to, make it spooky, but then you could do something sweet on this side for the Christmas holiday if you wanted to. Okie dokie. Next up, I know I'm going kind of fast on these because I'm going to get to the mirror, but I don't think you need, I think we're doing good, right? Am I showing you what you want to see here? So the next thing I did on the mantle, I wonder if you can even still see this one. No, he's down here, is I'm making a banner, and I'm just doing repetition. I'm going simple. I thought this raven was fabulous. So I used cardstock, cut the size I wanted. Yay! Olga, you love it too. You're watching from the cancer hospital. Oh, sweet love. Well, we will say a prayer for you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll bring some smiles today. So for my banner, I just cut some cardstock, and then I kind of picked a size. I literally eyeballed it, and I used my paper cutter. There is your tri-mesh stencil. So this is mesh through here. So it's like a screen print. It's not just an open stencil that you've got to, watch those edges. Again, eyeball it. And then when I do this, I'm going to tell you another idea I had last night. All these ideas I got, after we decided exactly what we're doing. Isn't that how it works? Is that how it works for you guys sometimes too? On this one, by the way, I'm using the gel art ink. This works great on a lot of different surfaces as well as fabrics. I know I didn't get enough on there, but I've got this attached here. We're just going to start going right over this awesome raven. So I have a question for you. When I am looking at Halloween stuff, if it's a black bird, I just call it a raven. And I know there's a huge difference between ravens and crows, but I never know which, if it's a raven or a crow. So I just say raven because of Edgar Allan Poe. And that's me. You guys get them confused this time of year? I'm pretty sure this one's a raven and not a crow, but I don't know. Somebody could probably school me on that. So you see, I'm literally I turn my edges, or turn my paper whatever it is I'm working on for one reason. I'm trying to stay within the confines of my stencil and not go onto here. So sometimes it just helps me get a little bit better in all those areas. Wipe this off real quick. And then I know I'm a dork, but I love the reveal. Oop. See, I got just a little bit right there. I'll come back in with, since this is paper, I'm going to probably come back in with my black one-step paint and cover that up. That's what happens on live TV, folks. Live TV. I'm going to put this in my water again. I know I'm off camera. I apologize. I don't know a better way to do that. If I put the water over here, I'll step in it inevitably, and then I'll have a big mess. So my goal is I'm going to make 7 of these, 5 for sure, or 7. I've got the hole punch. I just use my basic hole punch. And this is the twine that I'm going to use. It's a little bit of a thicker baker's twine, and it's got just a little bit of silver metallic. Love this stuff. I have it with gold as well. So that will, you'll be able to see, well, I'll show you when we get back over here. I'll add it onto with my other one. But I like having those cut and ready to go. Move that. I thought this one would also make a really great banner. And I thought it would be fun to take where you do it half, like half of the skeleton hand on one banner and then the other half, and kind of lead it across. You could do all sorts of different things. But this one would be really fun. Okay. To the piece de resistance. That's way fancier than I am. Okay. Here's one of my big tricks. Working retail and doing displays in retail, merchandising displays forever. I've got lots of tricks. I like to use mirrors when I am doing stenciled signs for a couple of different reasons. This is, by the way, a mirror that I found at a garage sale. I think last summer. It's $4 and I paid $2 for it. And it was a gross lime greenish yellow color. I used Amy's one-step paint. Can you see it's a little bright? There you go. Just the one-step paint in black. And I painted my frame out. And then, okay, so the reason I like to use these mirrors, I jumped ahead, I apologize, is because you can get this really great detail. Like I have an oval one up on my mantle that's got nice detail and trim. And then I took like the kids' pearls, not real pearls, but like the big pearl necklace. And I had a huge several strings of those, and I hot glued it inside the edges and then painted the whole thing. Now, yes, Amy has an amazing product where you can do antiquing on your mirror. You can do the stencil right on your mirror, and actually that would look really awesome. I went ahead and put a really light coat of the one-step paint on the mirror because of the lights I have in here and being on camera. I didn't want to blind everybody. I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. So I just did a really light coat here to kind of give it a little bit of an antique look. Now, the thing I also knew that was going to happen, so be ready for this, is when I put my stencil down, which I'm going to grab that right now. I think it's over here. Yes, this is the cutest stencil, by the way. So doing it this way, having a mirror that I put a really light coat of one-step paint on, when I put this stencil on, because of the way I laid the black paint down, there's like a few little grooves. It's going to pull a little bit of that paint off. Okay. And I'm okay with that. I chose that for this project because I wanted it to look, I mean, this was established in 1693. This sign wouldn't be perfect. I didn't want it perfect for my mantle. I wanted it to look a little bit worn. So keep that in mind. And if that's not what you want to do it just on the mirror or do a really nice paint job, 2 coats, do a really, really light sand. So use a really fine grit, and just barely, just to knock down any little imperfections, and then seal it with a clear coat. And that should keep it from pulling up the way mine is going to. But I want you to know, I did this on purpose. I wanted it to not look perfect for my mantle. So again, I'm using my gel art ink here. I'm going to do this as quickly. Well, once I find where I put my, oh, here it is. I told you I'm in my dining room, not in my studio. So I apologize. So once again, I am literally just going to add all along the edge here. And I'm going to work pretty fast. I like to kind of keep in mind that I've got a good 5 minutes before I ideally want to be able to start washing this out. It's very satisfying. I don't want any lines. See, I don't know if you could see there. I had some lines there from my tool. Just like anything else that you're going to be doing with the paint, with any of Amy Howard's products, you never want to see your tool, like marks from your tool. So I want to get those lines out of there. Be pretty generous. I'm probably more self-conscious and not being as generous with how much I'm using since I am on here and talking to you guys today. Man, it was chilly when I went outside this morning, which it made me even more ready to do a project like this. Is it hot? Is it chilly where you're at? Okay. We are getting so close. See how I've flipped around to this side? Because I trust not getting it outside the edges of the actual, the whole stencil itself if I can scooch around. And again, have you used these stencils before? If you're on here, I would love to know that. And my computer over here keeps timing out on me, so I don't know if I'm catching very many people or not, so I apologize. Hopefully we'll just keep getting better and better. All this new technology. All right, see how over here I didn't quite get that filled in, especially on these bigger stencils. I kind of have to go back and look and make sure. All right, now this scares me. I'm very vulnerable right now. I know I told you that this is going to pull a little bit of my paint up, but I still want it to look good, especially doing this on a live. Here we go. I'm going to go slow. I like to just see how I'm staying low. That's going to help it from pulling up anything I don't really want it to pull up. Oh, it's turning out awesome. Stay low. Go slow and steady. Ta-da! All right, I'm just lay this in the water. Hopefully you'll get it all. That's just the key, getting it into some water. Because think about it, it's a screen, so you don't want your paint to gunk it up. Now there's some edge places where I did go out. Okay, but look how quick that was. That took no time at all in the scheme of things, right? Now, one last finishing touch here, because I can't leave well enough alone. actually, it's the whole reason I like using mirrors for these, because you can usually get that detail versus just using a canvas. I want a little bit more. So I am missing a brush. It's right here. Hold on. Good grief. You'd think I'd have at least had more brushes with me. All right, just a good old chip brush. This is the gel art ink in metallic gold. So same thing as if I'm doing a gold wax or something. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on my plate. I'm going to fill my brush up. I'm going to offload it. The whole thing is you want to get that thing loaded up. And then I am just going to, let me see, can you see this edge better? There we go. Just going to start hitting some of these highlights. I'm just wanting to get a little bit of depth and dimension. Ah, it's so pretty. I'll put it up here next to the camera. Now I don't want it too heavy in here. I got a little heavy-handed, but I think I'll be able to, I'll show you what I'll do. I just want to hit these edges, feather that away. Get a little bit more, offload, feather it away. Is this something you think you would do? Have you ever done a sign on a mirror like this? Oops, and I just got off to the side a little bit. Oh well, like I said, this sign's been hanging in their establishment since the 1600s, so it's going to have some imperfection. So it just adds, can you see, a little bit of glimmer. Let that baby dry. Yeah, I'm going to grab just a paper towel in this area where I got it a little heavier than I wanted. And I'm just going to knock that back a little bit. If this wouldn't work, you always want to have some triple-aught steel wool. Oh, Robin, thank you. Oh, you're getting major rain in Helene, huh? Oh, the damask one. I have one of those. That's an older one. Mine is, it's not in good enough shape that I could send it to you because I've used it so much. That was a good one. That's a lesson for everybody. If there's a stencil you want, you definitely need to hop on it and get two if you really like it. Right? Okay. I am going to flip this back up here, especially for everybody that was not on here when we first started. So I'm going to make more of these guys here and just string it onto my banner. I think I'm going to have 5 of them. One thing you can do too when you're making these is then just take strips of fabric and tie on there. I got like black polka dot, black gingham, all of the things. I think you can see, and maybe I'm afraid I'm going to knock everything down, but I literally just took pearls, like play pearl, like play jewelry, play necklaces, and beads, and wrapped around that. I've got my sign here, got our spiders, we have our black twigs, and it's simple. Like this literally doesn't take very long, and you can just change things out. You can have a fun spooky, you can go spooky as you want, but the products are all here. I know there's, I didn't see it on, there should be a code that you can order and get any of these goodies and get 20% off if on the Maker Studio website. And normally that's not an indefinite, but it's a little bundle, and it should be until next Thursday because you guys get to see me again, whether you like it or not. Hopefully you like it. Thank you, Gabrielle. Help you find one. Okay, Robin, I do have a friend, I need to call her out on here, who has a huge like back stock of stencils, and I know that she was wanting to sell some of them. So I will reach out to Connie. I don't know if Connie's on here and watching, but I will check with her. So Robin, I'll be able to see your messages because it's on Facebook, and I will let you know what I find out. Okay. Yep. So it's spooky20 is the code, and there'll be the different things that the products that I used in here, so you guys can do this mantle. First of all, thank you so much for hanging in with me for this 30 minutes. Because like I said, things were a little backwards because I'm not in my studio. I'm in my dining room, in my little dining room. Excellent. Hey, Robin. But you guys were fantastic. You made me feel right at home. I hope you maybe got some ideas. Possibilities are endless. These stencils, you can do so much with them. I really want to make, I think, some of those witches brew wine glasses. I saw that on the page too with the etching cream. That would be really fun. So good morning. I hope everybody's having a fabulous morning, and thank you guys very much. I'm thirsty. Oh, Sue, you're so welcome. I hope you were out of that hospital soon and feeling 100%, okay?